This message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. As language learners, we all hear that the key to improving in the language we're learning is to immerse ourselves in as much content as we can. Doesn't matter what it is, might be videos, books, blogs, social media posts, podcasts, popular series, whatever we can find. But the message is loud and clear. The more content, the better. But that is only half the story, and I really wanted to talk to you about this today. The digital world often talks about passive versus active consumption of content. It's a really common distinction. Passive consumption is the reflexive picking up of our phones, mindlessly scrolling. It's the sleepwalking through content that won't really offer any great contribution to our lives. Active consumption is us deliberately using content to invest in ourselves, learning, challenging our opinions, branching out into new disciplines. An active consumption of content can 100% be life-changing. The problem is, it can also be a bit of a trap, and here's why. It's something that writers also struggle with. Lots of aspiring writers internalize the idea that in order to become great writers, they need to read copiously to stand on the shoulders of giants. And so they go and they read widely, they read all the classics, they find the genre that lights them up, and they amass huge collections. But then they get stuck. Because what actually happens is a lot of those aspiring writers become experts in the craft of reading. They really do master it, analysing the texts, analysing the historical and political contexts, and making all kinds of amazing observations about the linguistic choices, the narrative, the storytelling. But it is still just very knowledgeable active consumption. Literary criticism isn't them writing their novel. Linguistic analysis isn't them writing their novel. And that's the issue. They never make that leap to do any writing of their own. They've developed some great skills. They've honed a craft, but it's not what they set out to do. And for so many language learners, it's the same story. Our goals are active goals. It's about what we produce. What we dream about is being able to write and especially to be able to speak in our new language. It's about what we can create, what we can produce, and how we can express ourselves. And as we've just seen with the writers, even the very best content going into our brains does not guarantee that any content of our own will come out. So if we as language learners want to be able to speak well in our language, we need to fix the ratio of reading and listening versus speaking and writing. Because while our content consumption hugely enriches our vocabulary, enriches our instincts, our cultural understanding of our language, it can't do the whole job for us. So as we go into this week, I'd really love to set you a challenge. Your challenge is to read, watch, or listen to something in your new language, and then create something of your own off the back of it. It could be a big project, but it really doesn't have to be. It could just be that you watch something and then you review it in a way that fits with your current language level. It could be that you share a social media post that you particularly enjoyed with a caption that you've written in your new language, telling your audience why it resonated with you. It might be leaving more comments on the YouTube videos that you watch. Or if you want a really big project, you could rewrite a scene of a show into how you think it should have gone, or journal about a wider social issue that show brought up for you. It really isn't that important what you make on any particular day, but in whatever way you can, please make something. Let your new language capture your voice. Use it to say how you feel about things or how you see the world. And then tell us about it in the comments below. I want to hear, what are you making? What are you watching? What are you listening to? And how are you then using that in your language that day, that week? I'd love to know what you're doing. And as always, click the like button, because that's going to tell me that I'm creating content that helps you to feel more comfortable in your language learning and to make the whole process more fun, more creative, more sustainable, and more meaningful. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.